Welcome to That's Life, everyone. My name is Mandy Stans, and today we're going to be talking with my good friend Amy Evert, who runs a successful personal training business both online and in person way down in Kentucky. Today I'm going to talk to Amy about fitness over 40, living with epilepsy, and fitness competitions. Welcome, Amy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Amy and I met on Instagram and developed a bit of a close connection. And Amy is very amazing, and you'll learn her story in just a minute. But first of all, Amy, you're in Kentucky, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And so there's some crazy politics happening down there right now. What are your thoughts on that?
I really don't care to share my exact politics, but I will say that I truly believe that everybody should be kind, and it is very disheartening to me that everybody can't share their politics anymore, and that everybody can't truly be open about their politics. And just people can't support one another and be friends and continue to just be close to one another no matter what their politics are.
I can definitely appreciate how it would be very stressful to experience.
Yes.
My heart goes out to everyone struggling with that right now, and hopefully the future will bring some better times for everybody. You mentioned that you don't talk about politics on Instagram, and so that kind of brings me to my first question. Now, sometimes people have an Instagram personality and then they have a real life personality. How true to you, to your own self, is your Instagram profile?
I've always tried to stay really true to myself on Instagram. I don't put anything on there that I don't believe in.
So, Amy, if anyone looks at your Instagram profile, they can clearly see that you are in fabulous shape. But I know that that doesn't come easily for anybody, and you definitely work very hard. And also, you have worked to overcome, or you currently struggle with some health issues, and you weren't always as fit as you are now. So, can you tell us a bit about that?
So in 2012, I was diagnosed with tumor onset epilepsy. I had a seizure while I was out with friends. It was my first tonic-clonic seizure, which is what a lot of people refer to as a grand mal seizure. After having that seizure, they found out that I'd actually been having several partial seizures or aura seizures. They took me and I started having several tests done, and they found that I had a tumor.
So did that come out of nowhere? You hadn't had any symptoms that you noticed anyway about that? Just all of a sudden you had this seizure, and that was the start of your diagnosis process?
That was the start of my diagnosis process. Afterwards, I knew that I had been having these auras, but I didn't know what they were.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of different types of seizures that a lot of people don't talk about or that people don't know about. The seizures that I have, I'll smell things, or I will hear things, or I'll hear ringing, or I'll just like zone out. So you don't actually have to be unconscious to be having a seizure. So, but I didn't know that these things were, that this was coming. Like I'll have weird sensations through my hands, through my arms, and things like that.
And so how old were you when you were diagnosed with this? You said it was in 2012?
So I would have been 32.
32. Is it adult onset? Is it something that you'd likely been dealing with all of your life but hadn't realized? Or
they think that it was adult onset, that it had just gotten worse over a period of time.
And so how do you manage that now?
So now I had my tumor removed in 2013.
That was on your brain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And now I take several medications to control my seizures. So I'm on 3 different medications for that. So, and those affect me in different ways. And so I'm mostly just being tired and things like that. For the most part, my seizures are controlled though.
So that's great. So it's controlled largely by medication. Is there anything that you had to do in terms of lifestyle change to improve your chances of effectively dealing with it?
So yeah, so at first when I was diagnosed, I was in great denial. So in the first medication I was on, I gained a lot of weight on it. It just made me have horrible mood swings. I was extremely depressed, and that was when they had first taken my license. I didn't have my license for a year and a half. I went through this horrible depression, and I would get really angry. And then I realized I should probably make some lifestyle changes. The first thing that I did was working out. I decided that I was going to work out, that I was going to get rides to the gym. I'd already been working out before. Like I'd been going to like Zumba and doing a few things like that. And I really liked that. That made me feel better.
Right.
So I decided to find a way to get to these places still. And then I started strength training. Then I started learning about food and changing how I was going to eat. Then I decided to even go back to school. So I went back to school
Oh, good for you.
to learn about health and fitness.
And
Just,
so was that the igniter for you in terms of fitness?
I had never even imagined that I would be doing anything that I was now if it hadn't been for me being diagnosed with epilepsy.
Right. So something positive did come out of the situation. You're also a fitness competitor, right? So at what point did
Yes.
you decide I'm going to take this really seriously and start competing?
After I had my brain surgery in 2013, after I'd fully recovered, I decided to compete. My first competition was in 2014. I didn't have a coach or anything though. I just kind of decided I was going to do it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just kind of did it. I've always kind of had like, always had like low self esteem. I didn't feel really confident about myself or anything. Like everything changed when I was became epileptic and had all this stuff happen
Mhm.
with my brain. It's almost like a lot of my personality changed and became a little bit more just like I would just do stuff that I wouldn't normally do. So I was like, well, you know what? I can do this now. So I did it just to prove to myself that I could do it. I've competed in 12 competitions,
Wow.
placed first in 6 of those.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. And you just recently competed in something, was it just a couple of months ago? Isn't that right?
Yes, that was in Iowa, and I did compete in Bikini for that. I have plans to compete this coming year as long as everything stays open and they have their competitions.
And so what is the biggest piece of advice you would give somebody who is new to competition? Like if I wanted to start competing, what would the best piece of advice, if you could only give one piece, what would it be?
Hire a coach.
So
So,
even though you hire a coach for competition, you are a personal trainer yourself, right? And you own a studio or a gym, or what is it exactly that you have going on there? I can see it in the background.
yes, I have a studio here. I do personal training here and I do group fitness.
What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have when it comes to getting fit?
You know, you would think this wouldn't be anymore, but spot training. People think you can still spot train areas that
So
if they
like
work
a million sit-ups to get rid of your little
mhm,
pooch or
to
whatever,
get
right?
your little tummy. Yeah. So you can't spot train to get rid of your tummy, and you can't do tricep extensions to get rid of your arm flab, your
Right.
just things like that.
So
I
what do
think
you
that's
have to
still
do to get rid of your arm flab and your tummy? What's the best piece of advice that you could give somebody? What do you need to do?
you have to follow a nutrition plan. And nutrition is super simple, but it's extremely complex because humans are involved.
I hear that for sure.
Um,
It's I think that we all know what we need to do, but then following through and actually doing what we need to do are two different things, right?
And most women that come to me just have trouble just eating too much junk. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. We just need to eat good whole foods.
I also find one of the problems is that a lot of women think that they have to eat this very small amount, like 1,200 calories or whatever. And then when I
Yes.
was training, what I found is I would get these women who were over 40 who had been lifelong dieters and on really restrictive diets. And
Hmm.
that's almost just as bad as eating too much, right? Do you see that a lot?
Especially in the generations that are like our age and older. Those are the generations that are not eating like hardly any foods.
Right,
And then when you try to teach them to eat more foods, then they're like, "You want me to eat how much food?" I'm like,
right.
we need to eat some protein. We need to eat some, some good fats. We need to eat some." They're like, and then they look at you like, "You want me to eat more food?" Like, yeah, I need you to eat some food. You're right. They were taught not to eat anything above 1,200 calories.
What is your motto then when it comes to nutrition?
There are no shortcuts to health. Everybody wants to lose weight so fast, and I'm like, you didn't gain weight that fast if you're not going to lose it that quickly.
Yeah, what did they
Hmm.
say? Good things come to those who wait and those who
Yes.
work hard, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, can you tell us what your top fitness tips would be?
Definitely strength training. Strength training should be always be a top priority. I believe that all women should be strength training and lifting weights. Which would bring me to my next one, which would be you can't out train a bad diet.
Do you offer any online training at all, or is it all in person?
We do offer online training. We have Zoom classes. We have several people that train through Zoom now, just since COVID started.
Hmm.
Everybody can follow me on Instagram. You can find me on there. I have a YouTube channel where I post workouts. You can find me. I have a website. Anybody can work out with me on Zoom. I train people online. I do nutrition. I do workouts. I would love to see anybody from anywhere and everywhere.
Okay, that's awesome. And that's another good thing that comes out of maybe a bad situation is that we've found ways to connect with people like this via Zoom from all over the world, right? So it's kind of, a positive, I guess. I like to look at the positive of bad situations. So thank you so much for joining me today, Amy. You truly have an inspiring story. I would love to link to all of your information in the description. And if anyone wants to reach out, they can contact you that way. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. And we'll see you soon.